Hey, so I am in literature right now. Happy New Year, happy new everything, happy um everything. Like I haven't been doing many streams lately. I got super duper busy. So yeah, everything happened and last semester I was fine. So now this semester is time to lock in a little bit more because we're going to be dealing with a whole bunch of new courses and all of them are pretty demanding, so I'm not really happy about that. However, I have to read this. I have to read a lot. So this is for literature. I'm going to be reading this article that I don't want to read. So I'm just going to read it out loud because that is the only way that I can really make myself be interested. So I'm just gonna read it out loud and like record it. Um, doesn't mean someone has to be watching me. I'm just gonna read it so I can so I would have had read it. I'm gonna annotate it as I go along if I feel like it. Okay, so this is EQ's visit to a small planet. Some questions to ask a play. Since its origination as a classroom tool in the early 1990s, Eleanor Fuchs' essay has acquired a devoted following, with tattered photocopies circulating in literary offices and university departments. Most recently, it has inspired discussions in internet chat rooms and garnered citations in scholarly journals, despite remaining unavailable to a broad readership. I actually don't want to read this. This is like really like long-winded. This whole page did not make sense. Okay, let me just start with the first, like the second page. I think this might have not been like, I might have been reading like the intro, and I don't really need that. We must make the assumption that in the world of the play there are no accidents. Nothing occurs by chance, not even chance. In that case, let me highlight this. Hold up, sorry. In that case, nothing in the play is without significance. Correspondingly, the play asks us to focus upon it a total awareness to bring our attention and curiosity without censorship of selective interpretation, good taste, or correct form. Before making judgments, we must ask questions. This is the deepest meaning of the idea, often repeated but little understood, that the study of art shows us how to live. A play is not a flat work of literature, not a description in poetry of another world, but is in itself another world passing before you in time and space. Language is only part of this world. Those who think too exclusively in terms of language find it hard to read plays. When you see this other world, when you experience its space time dynamics, its architectonics, then you can figure out the role of language in it. If too tight a focus on language makes it hard to read plays, too tight a focus on character creates the opposite problem. It makes the reading too easy. To look at dramatic structures narrowly in terms of characteristics risks unproblematically collapsing this. Oh, sorry. Okay, that just makes sense. No sense. To look at dramatic structures narrowly in terms of characters risks unproblematically collapsing this strange world into our own world. What? Okay, whatever. The stage world never obeys the same rules as ours, because in its world nothing else is possible besides what is there. No one lives there. No other geography is available. No alternative actions can be taken. To see this entire world, do this literally. Mold the plane into a medium-sized ball, set it before you in the middle distance, and squint your eyes. Make the ball small enough so that you can see the entire planet, not so small that you lose detail, and not so large that the detail overwhelms the whole. Before you is the world of the play. Still squinting, ask about the space. What is it like on this planet? Interior, exterior, built, or natural? Is space here confined or wide open? Do you see a long passage with many stations? Do you see a landscape of valleys and mountains, sea and land? Are we on an island, in a cave, in a desert, or a jungle, on a country road? So many questions. Can you shut up? Sorry, I should pay attention. So now ask about the time. Does time behave on this planet? Does time stand still? Is time frantic and staccato on this planet? Is it leisurely, easygoing? How is time marked on this planet? By clock, by the sun, by the sound of footsteps? What kind of time are we in? Cyclical time, eternal time, linear time? What kind of line? One day, one lifetime? Ask about the climate about this planet. Do we have storms, eclipses of the sun and moon? Do we have extreme heat, paralyzing cold? Is the environment on this planet lush and abundant? Sear and Sere? Sere? I don't know. And life denying, airless and suffocating? What is the sensational feel of this world? Autumnal? Wintry? What is the mood on this planet? Jolly, serious, sad, ironic, sepulchral? The mood is not just a question of plot. Comedies are happy, etc. Tone also describes the mood. What is the tone of this planet? Delicate or coarse? Cerebral or passionate? Restrained or violent? How are mood and tone created on this planet? Through music, light, sound, color, shape? What shapes? Curves? Angles? Okay, too many questions, bro. But all I'm gonna say is I'm gonna start highlighting the supporting points. So let's see. So this is the world of the play. And then now we're gonna talk about, we talked about space, we talked about time, we talked about climate, we talked about mood, tone. Okay. Remember, you can't just decide that the planet is wintry or dark just because you think it would look more interesting in snow or smog. At least not yet. Make sure you're alert to what's there. There should be actual evidence on the planet for what you report. You're not done. In most dramatic worlds, there are hidden or at least unseen spaces. Ask questions about them as well. What are their characteristics of time, space, tone, and mood? How do they relate to the represented world in the world you see? Finally, while you're looking at this planet, listen to its music. Every dramatic world you have or suggests characters. Well, sorry. Let me see. Characteristic sounds of mourning, celebration, children's patter, incantation. It will alternate sounds of human and landscape or sound and silence. Listen for the pattern of the sound. You are not ready to examine the beings who inhabit this world. Before you inquire into their individual traits and motives, there are other things you need to know. Keep squinting at the planet. Is it public world or private? What is its class rules? Aristocratic, popular, mixed? And what kinds of patterns do the figures on this planet arrange themselves? Do you see groups and actions, isolated individuals, both? Is there a single central feature or surrounded by a group? Are the figures matched off in conflicting pairs? Are you seeing and feeling the tension of interlocking triangles? Oh my gosh. Also, by the way, I'm like my quality of my face is so clear on my laptop. It's like actually kind of crazy. But anyways, how do figures appear on this planet? Are they inward or two-dimensional, subtle, exaggerated? Are they like puppets, like clowns, like you? Are you sure? How do figures dress on this planet? In rags and gowns and cardboard cutouts like us? Are you sure? How do you figures interact? By fighting, reason, discussion. Who has power on this planet? How is it achieved? Over whom is it exercised? To what ends is it exercised? What are the language habits on the planet? Verse or prose dialogue, monologue, certainly. How do language predominate? Of thoughts or of feelings? And what kinds of feelings? Is language colorful or flat, clipped or flowing, metaphorical or logical, exuberant or delicate? And what about silences? Okay. So in this section, it was language, and then there was power, and then there's interaction, there's dress, there's appearance, I guess. Like arrangement. Okay. You have gotten a feel for this world. Now, look at it dynamically because it moves in time. Within the rules of this operation, nothing stays the same. What changes in this world? Look at the first image, now look at the last. Then locate some striking image near the center of the plate. The empty box in Kids, the Spanish tragedy is a good example. To give an account of destiny on this planet, range over these three markers. Why is it essential to pass through the gate of the central image to get from the first to last. Okay, you don't have to say all that. You could just say, like, think about the beginning scene, the ending scene, and a random scene in the middle, and think about how you got from point A to point C, passing through point B. You don't have to say all that. This is like English major activities. Like you have too much time on your hands. I'd rather like read something that like straight to the point. I'd rather do chemistry right now, even though it's hard. But anyways, what changes in this landscape of this world? Does it move from inside to outside, from valleys to mountains, from town to wilderness? What changes in time? Does time move from dusk to night, night to dawn, morning to midnight? Okay, I'm not gonna read all this. I'm just gonna read the main questions. What changes in language? All the changes you discover will, of course, contribute to reflect to on character, but each trajectory should be seen as a signifying system on its own. Okay, so actually, I'm gonna look at the past page to see if I can. Okay. What changes in the action have we moved from confusion to wedding? From threat to peaceful celebration? From threat to disaster? From suffering to rebirth? From threat to dual outcomes, suffering for evil persons and vindication for good? Okay, so it's talking about like first it's talking about romantic comedy. Okay, then it's talking about traditional tragic comedy, then it's talking about tragedy, then it's talking about passion play, then it's talking about melodrama. Okay. Let's quit one last time. Putting together space, time, and the natural world and the social world, elements that change and those that don't. You're discovering the myth. Plays are full of archetypal places. Castles, gardens, forests, roads, islands, green worlds, dream worlds, storms, night scenes, on and on. If the play starts in a place, goes to a moonlit forest, and returns to the palace the next day or night, which is it, day or night? What does that progression tell you? How is the final palace scene conditioned by the night journey to the forest? Is the world of the play at the end of the play a transformed world, or is it the same world returned to normal with minor adjustments? World stand or fall on your answer. Seeking what changes. Don't forget to ask what changes in you, the imaginer of world. Ask what has this world demanded of me? Does it ask for me to pity and fear? Does it ask me for reason? Okay, so does it ask me to interact with other spectators, to leave the theater and take political actions, to search my ethical being to the core? Maybe this world means only to entertain me. Why not? But how does this make its intention known? Important as these internal systems are, dramatic worlds don't just speak to and within themselves, they also speak to each other. How many performances are signaling to you from inside this world? How many echoes of other dramatic worlds do they suggest? How do these additional layers of theatricality comment on what you have already discovered? Only now are you really ready to examine the figures who inhabit this world. Every assumption you make about a character must reflect the conditions of its world, including the way psychology functions in that world. You can arrive at the most interesting version of any question about character by first exploring the features of her theatrical planet. Characters mean only as they inhabit, enact, fulfill, and engage a succession of sights, actions, and objects under a specific set of conditions. They are constituents. I think I said it right. Constituents? That's probably better. Of a complex artistic pattern. Find the pattern first. Warning. Don't permit yourself to construct a pattern that omits singularities, puzzling events, object figures, and scenes that do not fit. Remember, there's nothing in the world of a play by accident. These puzzles may hold a key. Assume that the dramatic world is entirely conscious, determinate, limited. Give an account of that world that attempts to consider the role of every element in that world, visual, oral, temporal, tonal, figural. Become curious as each element is revealed as a player in the play. Be someone who is aroused to meaning. Of course, you can construct meaning in the world in many ways. Construct it in the most inclusive way you can. There can still be more to see. I read that all in 14 minutes. That was like a whole packet. Like I didn't even need to read all this. That was like really unnecessary. I have things to do, like write my chemistry procedures. That's like I have things to do. I don't have time to read all this for literature. Look at this. Boom. Front and back. Cause like front and back. Yep. This too. Okay. Like too many things going on right now. There's just too many things going on right now. I don't have time. Look right here. Lab number 1. Front and back. I don't have time for this. I have to get back to work. Anyways, thank you for joining me on my very quick read. I will come back soon whenever I feel like doing another stream, and I quite possibly may be returning very soon because guess what? I have another article to read. So yeah, I will be back very, very soon. Okay, but for now, I'm gonna leave. Bye.